Hello everyone, this video will cover Module 10. So Module 10 is our last module for the process essay. You have gone through the brainstorm writing plan, you have submitted a rough draft. I should be responding to rough drafts and giving you some feedback on those fairly early on in the week. But if you want to get started on your essay as soon as the final draft module is open and I have not given you feedback, you can always email me and I'll bump that up on my to-do list. So this module is all about just getting that draft finished. You may want to use the online writing lab. You already have a rough draft done, so it should be pretty easy to send it into the BrainFuse online tutoring. But the only thing in this module you'll see is the final draft. You are expected to take the week to revise it. Just as a reminder, the essay assignment is in here. You will want to look back at the criteria. The main issue, which so far I haven't seen any, I don't think, in the brainstorms that were submitted. The main issue that students have typically is not treating this as a process. So a process is something where you go step by step and you have the same steps each time and the result is the same if you go through those steps in that order. So it can't be something where you might have different steps or a different outcome every time that you do it. And some students, I think, are trying to cover maybe too much. And so it's something that has to be in a process order. So the essay itself, it needs to be a page long at least. The majority of topics will be more than a page. Typically, there are at least 3 paragraphs, which she's going to give you about a page and a half probably. And so you have to have at least 3 full paragraphs, introduction, body, conclusion. But most students will have more than that. And so don't feel like you have to cram everything into that one body paragraph. You can separate it out. That's the minimum, which means that you definitely can do more than that. You want to make sure that you have adequate details and that you're explaining the steps and the time that it will take in order to move from step to step. And then, of course, the most important part, which is this analysis of the steps. The analysis part is what separates this as a process explanation from a set of instructions. So we're not doing a set of instructions. You are doing an explanation of the process. So we want to know, why is it that you would want to do this? Why do we need to do it in this order? Why should you have this particular tool on hand before you get started? So these are, a lot of this explanation comes from like your personal experience in making sure that you do it correctly. So for example, I just got my passport. And one of the things that I learned was that the passport office, you have to actually write a check in order to pay for your passport. They don't accept anything else. And so, or like a money order if you got it from a bank. And so we actually had to drive all the way back home to get a checkbook. Because we thought maybe we could, pay with our credit card. We can't pay with a credit card. So that's something that I learned getting there was 2 separate checks, one to the county and then one to the whole like federal passport entity that you have to pay for the passport for. So that was something that I learned as I was trying to get my passport. So that would be an extra part of the step that I would want to explain to the reader why this is, why this is something that you need to bring with you when you go to the passport office in person. So those types of things are what you want to add in there, giving advice, that kind of thing. To help out. The other issue that students often have is that addressing the reader is you. That is a set of instructions. We're avoiding the second person. It's really hard to do. I know I had a lot of thesis statements in the brainstorm and writing plan that had you in it. So we want to be going through your rough draft and making sure that you are correcting that. So I've got this revising a rough draft page, just giving you some chapters to look at. To help you out, all these areas where you can revise consistency, sentence variety, language awareness, that kind of thing, areas that you can revise for content. And then you could ignore this part because this is for the cause and effect essay, but you will have, because you won't have a peer edit for this one, but you will have sections that you can look at. You will have feedback from me, from the instructor on your rough draft that you submitted in the previous module. So the other thing that you can do is send in to the online writing lab. Use this BrainFuse online tutoring. The video shows you how to do it. I know I've showed you how to do it before, but make sure that you send it in with enough time that they can respond. So I would send it in by Wednesday if because you'll need the response by Friday. The last thing that you'll do is submit the final draft, and obviously you want to go through and start the assignment to do that. But little note here, if you don't make any changes between the rough draft that you turn in Module 9 and the final draft that you turn in Module 10, I'll only give half credit for it. The whole purpose of doing a rough draft is so that you can improve your essay. If you don't make any changes, or if you go through and like you change a couple of commas or something and you don't make an effort to make sure that your rough draft is an improved version, or that your final draft is an improved version of your rough draft, then I'm not going to give you the credit that other students will earn by going through that process. That is the whole purpose of this, and that is one of the fundamental outcomes and criteria for this entire class. So if you're not showing me that you can do that, you're not going to pass the class. So just keep that in mind. Grading rubric, just like we've done before, and that is the main assignment in this module. So if you have any questions, if you have questions about like my feedback that I leave on your rough draft, you absolutely can email me about just about anything, and I will let you know how you're doing. So hopefully you're having a great week, and if not, send me an email.